Hello, welcome to the Gym RPG show. I want to say a quick thank you to everybody who watched my previous video about scalping. It got over 400,000 views, so I'm blown away by that, so thank you very much. And I think that speaks to the fact that scalping is a really important issue. And if you have something to say about scalping, make sure to comment down below because that lets YouTube know that this topic is important, and it also lets YouTube know to highlight other videos about scalping. Okay, so I still want to stay on the topic of scalping today. I think a lot of people know that scalping is immoral, but I think there are still some people out there who think that scalping is okay. So I just want to highlight some of these posts to you because I think some of these comments are quite frankly mind-blowingly delusional. Okay, so if you like this video, make sure to click that like button and also to subscribe to this channel for more gaming videos like this. Before we start, there's some news of a new Mission Impossible movie starring Tom Cruise, where he's going to try and take on the Scalpers and try and buy a PS5. And I think that might be his toughest mission yet. And we have an exclusive clip from that movie, and I'm guessing the Scalpers are trying to get away here with the goods. And I would say don't try this at home. So I like to go into the comments of my videos and respond back to the people who write. I can't obviously do that to everybody, but you know, where there's time, I will go and engage in the discussion there. And I like it when I go into other people's videos and write a message there and they respond back as well. So you know, that's what I like to do. And I would say that my scalping video, there are so many comments there, and I would say that 99.9% of you know that scalping is not a right thing to do. It's an immoral thing to do, and I think, you know, most of you guys know that, but there's still like 0.1% of you guys out there who seem to think it's okay. So I just want to bring some of these comments up. I'm not looking to put you on blast. I'm just saying like the thought process behind these comments don't make sense. So the first one is from Omar, and he says, why are people bashing scalpers? They bought them with their earned cash, same as you. They have the right to sell it for as much as they want. Don't be mad because you don't want to pay the higher price. Not defending scalpers' actions, it's just our country is based on capitalism, so you can't even be mad. And, you know, this is what gets me because most people who defend scalpers always comes back to the argument that it's capitalism. And this is not capitalism. Capitalism is not cutting the queue. Capitalism is not where you cut the queue when you're at the checkout line and you take something out of somebody else's basket and pay for it and then offer it back to that same person for double the price. That's not capitalism. That's just being immoral and selfish, and that's not following etiquette. You don't go and sit in somebody else's seat when you're at the cinema, and you don't cut in queues when you're in traffic, and you don't cut in queues where you're at the checkout. So this is as simple as it gets. You know, if you're using bots to take a whole bunch of consoles from other people who are waiting in line, that's just cheating, and that's wrong. Conoco writes, people who talk shit about scalping are the same people who will buy a house from a wholesaler and not complain one bit, or they go buy a car with 27% interest and not blink an eye. So, I didn't know people were complaining about house scalping or car scalping. I didn't realize there were people who were buying up hordes and hordes of cars and then going to sell them on the secondary market for double the price. I didn't realize that was an issue. So honestly, this argument is a false equivalence. It doesn't make any sense. And you know, if you want to talk about house scalping, why not talk about the house prices instead, or the rental prices in places like San Francisco or New York? Because people there the prices are so high that they've gone through the roof. So if you want to talk about housing, talk about the house prices instead. Brian Vasquez writes, stop using the word scalpers, they are resellers. No, you know what? I think I'm going to keep calling them scalpers. I think most people know what that word means. And it doesn't really matter what you call them. You could call them scalpers, resellers, stock managers. I think it's actually what they're doing that's the problem. It doesn't matter what you call them. Cap Business writes, I don't see the scalpers as the problem. The problem is the people who pay the price. That's like blaming the weed man for selling to people who smoke weed. So I think Cap's got the analogy wrong there. It's actually if the weed man is buying up all of the weed and then charging everyone double for it. Spearmint writes, please don't hate too hard on some resellers who don't get a significant amount of consoles and make a living off of similar releases. With the profits from PS5s and Series X's, we can pay for car repairs in our bills. Although that money could be made in a month of work, my brother and I are both full-time students and our guardian is physically disabled and unable to work. So, all of these disabled people, yeah, go ahead and go and scalp. And all you able-bodied people, no, you've got to go work. You can't scalp. Only physically disabled people can go and scalp. So this article is about that group of scalpers who took 3,500 consoles in the UK from online retailers. And the headline is, Facebook PS5 Scalpers defend their actions, saying they put food on the table. They say they have no regrets. And here's somebody else who also has no regrets. In the article it says, in the full statement, Crep Chief clarified that they had not used bots but were prepared and had our in-house monitors ready. Focusing on release day, the group said in their statement, the day came and members had feasted. 2,472 consoles secured on the day, not with bots as the media is portraying, all manual. And I think more importantly, they're saying lots of our community have been furloughed, made redundant, or at some form of disadvantage due to the pandemic. These people have managed to cover their bills, but put food on the table and supply Christmas presents to their children. It may be unfortunate that a child won't wake up to a PS5 this Christmas, but another child may have woken up to nothing. So, reading this story, it just completely breaks my heart that they couldn't put food on the table. Therefore, they should be able to scalp 3,500 consoles and take everybody else's consoles from them and then charge them double for them. And, think about what Crep Chief is saying here. He is actually saying, hey, if it was actually in real life, he would actually go up to people who are waiting in line at a Walmart or Best Buy and tell them that they can't put food on the table and ask if they could just swap places in line. And he is going to do that to 3,500 people in line and take all of their consoles. That's really what he's saying here. He's saying that it's perfectly fine for him to go and use a bot and take everybody else's consoles. And is that really correct? Of course not. Okay, so let's end this video with some Twitter takes, and The Void has said, hot take of the day, there's absolutely nothing wrong with scalpers. It means either the initial price was set too low or there's not enough supply. And look at that, it got 986 likes, which, there's a lot of people out there who's defending scalpers. And, think about what he's saying. He's saying, Sony made the scalpers do it. It's Sony's fault. It's not the scalpers' fault. It's Sony's fault. King Mac writes, it's called entrepreneurship. People created bots because they knew people would be thirsty and they could upcharge. That's capitalism. You know what else is entrepreneurship? Ponzi schemes. Ponzi schemes are entrepreneurship because, they make money. So therefore, that's good. Ponzi schemes are banned because they take money from the people at the bottom and then the people at the top run off with it. That's why they're immoral, and you can report Ponzi schemes. Chris writes, from an econ perspective, price gouging is efficient. People who don't mind paying $1,000 for a PS5 won't mind paying a scalper. More gains from trade. You know what else is efficient? An empty supermarket. That would be really efficient because then people could just take all of their food and then sell it for its maximum value. That would make the economy grow, wouldn't it? That would be the best thing if everything was just efficient. So Jay Bush writes, wow, God forbid scalpers to do what retailers do all the time. Major companies buy these at wholesale. You buying from them is the same as you buying from a scalper. I'd rather give the scalper money than a major company that's slaving their workers away. But at the moment, I don't need it yet. So what Jay Bush is saying is scalpers are the heroes that we need because Sony is the bad guy making these devices that you guys are playing, and they're using slave workers. But if you use a scalper, well, that's hard, honest labor, right? And honestly, I think, you know what stock shortages lead to? It leads to people robbing each other of a video game console. That's what it leads to. So I'm going to blame the scalpers for this one. Okay, so that's going to do it for this one. Make sure to click the like button and also to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one.